Assalamualaikum and hello to Dr. Norin and everyone who are watching this video. My name is Muhammad Adib bin Mohamad Zain with metric number 188654 and I am a TESOL student from University Putra, Malaysia. Today, I'll be doing my self-reflection video which I'm going to talk about the things that I had learned when doing my teaching practicum in school and also doing online classes at my home.
First of all, allow me to introduce you to my school first. As for your information, I was chosen to do my teaching practicum at Sekolah Menengah Kebangsaan Agama Ma'at Amibiyah, which located in Jalan Sungai Ramalua, Kajang, Hulu Langit, Selangor. The school was considered as the top religious cluster school in Selangor for having so many awards, recognitions in the country, and also for achieving excellent result in XPM and PT3 exams. Apart from that, it had around 1,000 students and 75 teachers working there. I also want to talk about my mentor teacher. My mentor teacher's name was Miss Mahanin bin Abu Talib, who was the best and excellent English teacher in the school. So I am very happy and fortunate to have a mentor teacher just like her. As for my students, the school had given me two classes to teach, which were one class of Form 2, which known as 2 Osman, and one class of Form 4, 4 Ibn Sina. I was told by my mentor teacher that both classes were having the level of proficiency from intermediate to advanced level. As for my curricular activities, I was assigned by the school to join in English Society Club and also Scouts. As for my uniform unit, my duty there was to help the teachers from both clubs if they need any assistance from me. Moving on to the next point, which I'm going to talk about the main activities or event that I joined in the school. The first event that I joined was the service in practice, also known as the latihan dalam perkhidmatan ladap in Malay language. In this event, my school had invited an officer from Ministry of Education to give a talk about ways to improve teaching skill among the teachers in the school and also steps on how to know our students better. The next event that I joined was the Parent Teacher Association meeting, also known as PIBG meeting, where the purposes of this meeting or event were to exchange the ideas between the parents and teachers and also to listen of the parents' feedback with the school. My school had assigned me to join as gift and food committee, where my duty here is was to provide the food to the parents. I also had participated in the fire drill practice, where the school wanted the teachers and the students to prepare themselves from any burning accident happening in the school. As for the curricular activities, I had the opportunity to join the annual sport day practices, which held from February until March. My duty here were to train the students and also guide them to do their sport practices. Besides, I also want to highlight that there were some big events that were cancelled due to COVID-19, such as the Mahis Annual Sports Day 2020, second, the Excellent Academy Award 2020, also known as Majlis Anugerah Gemilang or Cemerlang, English Drama Competition, and also English Debate Competition. Now, let's get to the next point where I'll be talking about the teaching and learning process that I did in my teaching practicum in school and also doing the online classes at my home. Before that, I would like to state that my teaching practicum happened to start from 12th February 2020 until 9th of August 2020, where I spent 4 weeks teaching in school and the rest I did the online classes at my home. As for the teaching and learning process for the face-to-face or the physical classes from week 1 until week 4 in school, I will be presenting them through these main points as you can see in the slides here. So as the first point is the class management. I usually would set the rules with my students so that they would behave properly during the lessons. Next is the time management, where I had managed my time properly, especially in my lesson plans. As far as I could remember, I would only do 2 activities at least in every lesson, as I'm afraid that I would not be able to finish them on time. The next point that I'm going to talk about is the social interaction with the students. It is important as a teacher to have a good connection or relationship with the student. Thus, my ways of getting to know my students better were through uh, talking or chatting with them through social media or talking with them whenever I met them after school or even whenever I meet them in school. Besides, I would constantly include jokes or making funny stories in my lessons as I believe that these kind of joke or funny element would make them to stay close with me or making them to like me even better. As for the teacher readiness and teaching, I would prepare my lesson early, like making my lesson plans 2 or 3 days earlier before I conduct the actual lesson. It is important for me to make a proper lesson plans for my lesson as I think I need to I need to have enough time to study and read the topic so that I would be able to have a deeper understanding of the topic before I teaching my students. In terms of teaching materials, I would use the LCD projector whenever I want to show them the slides, the video or pictures. And also I would brought them reliefs and also dress up as certain characters in order to make them interested to learn English with me in the class. Last but not least, I would use the gamification elements, ICT, and also the 21st century activities such as gallery walk, role play, presentation, and other fun activities that I could do with my students. Alright, let's move on with the activities that I did with my students in school. In terms of activities, as I said just now, I would usually dress myself into a certain character in order to boost the students' motivation and get them interested to learn English with me. Besides, I also use the 21st century activities such as gallery walk, role play, presentation, and other fun activities that I did with them. For example, I did the Harry Potter scavenger hunt with my Form 4 student, where I brought them to do the lesson outside of the classroom, where I believe that it is important for me as a teacher to find ways to help my students to stay focused and motivated to learn English with me in the classroom. Okay, moving on with the online classes. I did quite a number of online classes with my students during the Movement Control Order, MCO, and Recovery Movement Order. RMCO during the COVID-19 issue in our country. As for my Form 2 students, I was assigned by the English teachers in the school to give them the task through WhatsApp. So my duty here was only to discuss the task with my students if they need any help from me. So mostly the tasks were about the reading comprehension exercises, quizzes about grammar, or doing the NILAM activities. Meanwhile, as for my Form 4 students, I was assigned by my mentor teacher to do the online teaching through Google Classroom and also Google Meet. For instance, I would give them the task to do like doing the grammar exercise, listening activities, or even reading activities to do on Google Classroom. While on Google Meet, I would teach them by discussing a certain topic with them so that they would know the topic even better through doing it in Google Classroom or even WhatsApp to do. As for the activities that I did for online classes, I would do the online quizzes through Kahoot, quizzes, and also Google Form with my students. Sometimes I would ask them to do a group activity through WhatsApp. For example, in my first teaching observation, I taught my students about the topic of making inferences when reading for specific information by using the WH question. So what I taught them to do was by doing the activities such as answering pop quizzes through Google Form and also the PowerPoint slides. In my second teaching observation, I taught them about a poem called The Living Photograph by Jackie Kay by asking them to do the pop quiz on Kahoot and also doing the drawing activities and also doing the pantomime activities through the WhatsApp group that which I asked them to do earlier. Apart from that, I also use the gamification elements and dress up into certain characters in every online classes. Moving on to the next point, which about the challenges that I face when doing my teaching practicum in school. As for the physical classes challenges, I face challenges such, such as time management, where it relate with my lesson planning, as I didn't have enough time to finish on certain topics with my students. Second, about the class control, I sometimes didn't have uh, enough energy to control the students' behavior, especially when it comes with the classroom management. Third, about the students' participation during the lesson, I noticed that most of the students didn't want to join or to do the group activity because they didn't want to join in as together as mixed gender because most of the boys and girls group they want to be in their own group according to their own gender. And then next about lack facilities. I faced this challenge as I noticed that the school didn't have uh, enough facilities for me to use, especially the computer lab and also language lab, which I think it is important for me to use when it comes to teach English. Of challenges that I faced when doing the online classes, there are quite a number of problems, which the major problem that I faced was the internet access, as I believe that most of my students couldn't join the lesson because of their poor internet connection that they had back at their home. Second, students also face the the problem when it comes students interaction and also responsiveness. I faced this problem whenever I tried to interact with my students during the lesson because most of them didn't want to switch on their camera and also turn on their microphone to talk with me. Third, which is about the planning the lesson plans, I noticed that it is my first time to conduct online classes as I didn't have any background information or schemata about what I need to do. Therefore, it made me uh, a major problem to do this kind of lesson plans. Okay, fourth is student interest, where it had made me uh, confused and also a bit face a bit difficulty when it comes to conduct online classes as I didn't know how to catch their interest. So what I tried to do was to use many uh, full applications such as Kahoot, Quizzes, and also I tried to dress up myself into certain characters just to make them to motivate and want to learn English with me. Next, I'm going to talk about the important things that I've learned throughout my teaching practicum in school and also doing online lesson at, at my home. First of all, I think I need to be more passionate about teaching as I believe that it's my duty to teach the students. Second, I think I need to be more aware that I need to love the students regardless of their social background, their level of language proficiency, and also their learning style. Because I noticed that as a teacher, we need to love them as much as we love ourselves. Third is to be more knowledgeable. I believe that as a teacher, we need to acquire the topic or the uh, lesson before we start to conduct the actual lesson with the students. It's important for us to be more intelligent when it comes for the student to ask questions to us in the lessons. And then we need to be more patient as I think I need to be more aware that every teacher need to be more patient when it comes dealing with their students. So my last point for this presentation, which I'm going to talk about the improvisation and conclusion for my teaching practicum. First, I think that as a future teacher, I do need to improve my teaching skill from time to time. Second is about classroom control. I do need to believe that not all students are equal and also they do have uh, differences among themselves. Therefore, I need to prepare my lesson very well. So in terms of classroom management. Third is about lesson planning. I need to be more aware about the time management and also classroom management, which I need to include in my lesson plan, and also about the activities that I think can be applicable with the lessons.
So I guess that's all for me, and thank you for taking your time to listen to my presentation just now.